Hi, I'm Matt from Utah Trikes, and today I'm going to show you how to remove the rear wheel on the Annihilator, X90, R81, and V81. The tools you'll need are a 15mm socket or box end wrench and a flat blade screwdriver. So the first step is going to be check the adjustment on the internally geared hub. We do this by shifting into second gear on the shifter in the left hand side, popping the black plastic cap off the hub with the flat blade screwdriver. You just put it down in here and pry. There's going to be a set of holes on the right hand side axle nut, and if you look into those holes, there should be a yellow line centered in the hole, and this is in second gear. So once you've verified that that is correct, you can then disconnect the cable here just in front of where the black plastic cover rests. It's got a jam nut on it, and then the other bit just comes right off, just unthreads. And then the cap will just come right off, and the chain will just kind of hang out. Next, you'll take your 15mm box end wrench. I usually like to stand behind the trike for this. If you've got it up in the air, you will have to hold on to the wheel, otherwise it'll just drop right out. If you've got it resting on the ground, you can loosen the axle nuts without the wheel falling out of the dropouts. They're both going to be counterclockwise to loosen the nut. On the right hand side, you will have to completely unthread the axle nut, and the chain won't allow it to come all the way off, which is fine. You can just let that dangle. Pull the no-turn washer off as well. The left-hand side does not have to be completely removed. You can just loosen the axle nut, give it a couple good turns, give yourself a little space to work with. Now just give the rear wheel a little bit of a wiggle, and it should slide right out. Now from standing behind the trike, again, this is another reason I like to stand behind it, I put my hand up on the front of the derailleur and pull it back towards me. This will allow the cassette to clear the derailleur, and now the rear wheel is removed. Once you've removed the rear wheel, you can then service your hub, gears, or change the flat tire should you have one. To reinstall the wheel, you basically do the same thing as when you pull it off, of course, but you're going to want to make sure that you pull this lower chain out of the way, and then the front of the wheel is going to have to go forward. Again, I like to pull on this derailleur here to give myself a little more space and ease up some of the slack here. This particular trike has a rear disc brake, which may get a little bit tricky. It should just slide right back up in. And then you put the no-turn washer back on, just like that. And the axle nut on the right-hand side. It is a good idea to put the trike on the ground to make sure that you have the axle seated into the dropouts all the way. If the axle does not sit all the way up in the dropouts, your rear wheel will be crooked, and that'll cause shifting issues and alignment problems. The trike could want to wander one direction or another, and then if you have a rear brake, it'll also cause the rear brake to rub. So making sure that you have the wheel seated in the dropouts is pretty important. Once it's in, go ahead and tighten the axle nuts back down. Just going to get those nice and snug. Back over to this side. Now make sure you get your plastic cap back on. That's nice to have. It protects the port into the internal gears and keeps dust and dirt from getting in there. Now you see there's a small hole up here, and that's where you're going to put the jam nut for the adjustment. And slide that through there, twist it around. Now, we had shifted the left grip shifter into second. To make reattaching the cable a little bit easier, we'll want to shift it back into first. Put that back on. Reconnect this. Now before you run your jam nut back up against the adjuster here, you will want to check your cable adjustment again by shifting the grip shifter into second gear and making sure that the yellow line is visible in one of those check holes right there. I can't see it, so I'm going to back it off just a bit, and there it is. So now that I can see it in the port, just going to tighten down the jam nut by hand and snap the cover back on, and you're done. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you have any questions, please visit us online at utahtrikes.com.